We are excited because we have reopened after being closed for 6 months. We've reopened with some brand new exhibits, but most of all, what was so exciting was on our reopening day, there were people standing outside waiting for us to open. We have mounted touchless thermometers that take your temperature when you enter the door. We also ask that you wear a mask, and we have masks and gloves available, but we have not had anyone come in without a mask. We do have social distancing, and we have the footprints on the floors, and we have everybody going in one direction so that you're never facing anyone. And people are really, really glad to be coming back to the museum.
So let's get into some of those exhibits. You guys have the Good Trouble Marching for Change exhibit. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So obviously that phrase sounds very familiar, thanks to John Lewis. But this exhibit is about protest, and it's specifically about protest in Baltimore. And what we did was collected protest signs and artwork from local artists pertaining to protests. And so you get to walk through this exhibit and see some work by artists and some work just by protesters, and see the signs and see the messages. We also have a video by a local video producer about going to protests. The main thing that we have done is, as you walk into the museum, we've painted Black Lives Matter on our floor. We've also put up signs. We have a 30-foot sign on the back of our building and one on the front of our building that said Black Lives Matter, Black History Matters. So it's a very exciting time. And what it does is it gives us the opportunity to talk about the history of protest, as well as show what protests were like in 2020.
And speaking of more history, you have an exhibit called Freedom Bound, Runaways of the Chesapeake. Can you tell us more about that one?
The story of slavery is probably one of the most brutal periods in American history. And oftentimes it's told with whips on people's back. And that's hard to look at, it's hard to consume, and it's definitely hard to relate to. You know, I think about when my granddaughter was talking about Rosa Parks, and she was so excited. She was learning about Rosa Parks, and, you know, Rosa Parks did all these great things. And I said, but do you realize that if it had not been for Rosa Parks, today you would be riding on the back of the bus? And she said, not me. And I said, why not? And she said, because I've never been on a bus. And so one of the things we realize even now is that there are generations that they weren't on the bus. They weren't part of the civil rights movement. They don't understand that whole movement. So it is incumbent upon us to teach them that and share that with them. And so that's what we try to do in the museum. And what Freedom Bound does is teaches about slavery for those who did not experience that. And Freedom Bound teaches in a very different way. It teaches through the individual personalized stories of 7 runaway slaves. They tell what it was like being in slavery, how they got into slavery. They tell what their dreams and ambitions were. They tell how they escaped slavery, and then what their lives were like after they escaped slavery. So it puts slavery in a perspective, and it puts a face on slavery. And there are 9 life-size mannequins, and they are dressed in the actual outfits that the slaves were described as wearing when they escaped. So it gives you a full picture, and it helps you understand slavery. And they talk about, yes, the brutality of it, but they also talk about their resilience and their ability to escape and what it meant to them. And so that's a fuller picture of slavery than we usually see. And we want people who come and experience that exhibit to understand that from 9 different perspectives.
Wow, that's amazing. Where are you all located, and how can people get there using transit?
So we're located in the heart of downtown on Pratt and President Street. Our actual address is 830, and we have a parking garage across the street that we provide discount parking to. And we are like a block away from the metro stop, so you can come down, and we're on the Silver Line number 63. And we are open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you have a group and you want to come on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you go on our website or give us a call, and we will open for you. Our admission is $8. You can go online and get a ticket, because when you come in, we can just scan that ticket from your phone. If you go online, lewismuseum.org, you can also become a member of the museum, and then your admission is free.
Thank you so much again for joining us. We really appreciate it.
And thank you for having us. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, I look forward to being there.